We need to build a retaining wall. We're going to use railroad ties, and I'm going to show you the entire process. This thing is going up against what will soon be our greenhouse, and the highlight of this thing is this little spigot. I'll show you how I did all that as well. This process, it takes time. It took a few days, and that's 3/4 poly line that's going down to an area on our property. I put this in back in 2021, and the first thing I had to do is dig this thing up so that I can put that spigot and I can have a control inside of the greenhouse to use that seasonal water. These they're blue twister polypropylene fittings. They go on the poly pipe, and I think they're super convenient. The best way to do this, and you're going to see this throughout the video, is to heat it up so that, this was annoying, as you can imagine, but to heat it up so the barbs will fit in a little bit easier. If you don't do that, it can be a nightmare. Unless it's really hot outside, then you're pretty good. I'm not going to talk throughout the entire thing, but this will give you a visual. Fast forward to the parts that are interesting to you, but hopefully this is useful and beneficial. That white 3-inch PVC, that's going to help with the drainage behind the wall. We're going to attach a corrugated pipe, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. These railroad ties that you see that we're building the retaining wall with, they weigh between 150 to 200 pounds each. Typically, they're made from hardwoods, and they're treated creosote to resist rot and insects. They're used though, so you're gonna get some that are awful and some that are really in great condition. All of them, they were all built to hold up the train tracks. So they're tough, they're heavy, they're built to last. That makes them a great choice for a retaining wall and really a lot of outdoor projects. I've been using them for years for a bunch of different projects. Every time they work well, they're just really difficult to actually work with. And that's just because they're heavy. Now you can see everything kind of converging in that last video. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna bring down this compactor. I had to go buy this. I didn't have one, didn't want to rent one. Went to Harbor Freight. I don't know if I'm gonna sell it after this or use it. I don't use it for a lot of different projects, but this one was really essential. You wanna get the ground as packed down, and you're gonna wanna use things like road base. I've got a lot of natural soils here. You can see to the right of the video there, I had a lot of filled dirt. It came from a park down in Brighton, Colorado. So it's got some debris and some different things in this. So what I'm doing is just kind of prepping the ground for some road base, and then eventually we're going to put down some 3/4 inch to 1 inch, typically, there's some bigger ones in there, but crushed rock that's going to be good for my drainage, and you'll see that in a little bit. But this little compactor came in super handy. When I say little, it's heavy. It's really heavy, and it needs to be, because it needs to get the ground as compacted as possible. So this process, I love electric. I love the 20-volt electric chainsaws. I know a lot of people are like, the only good chainsaw is gasoline, but I have not found that to be true. It definitely comes in handy when I need it, because there's nothing to really start. I have to maintain it. Don't need to make sure that the fuel's good. Just need to make sure that the battery's charged up. Now, this little area, there was a spot because of the way the concrete was poured that we needed to fill in, and I wanted to also give it a little bit of a stronger base. This is not on top. That concrete's not on top of any of the pipes, but that's going to help us make sure that nothing's coming out the little corner that we needed to have filled in, and then also to ensure that everything is going to be a little bit more level when we start laying those railroad ties up. And just for the record, that skid steer, I bought it in 2020, used. It's expensive. Skid steers are expensive. The best purchase. You know it, I know it. Every man should own an angle grinder. That's 1/2 inch rebar. Those are my nails. Super strong. Everything's about 11 inches because that is a 12-inch bit. And now no creepy crawlies are going to get in because we put a little extra concrete. Condo? Corrugated drain pipe. It's designed to move water away from the base of the wall so pressure doesn't build up behind it. For this wall, I started with a layer of crushed rock at the bottom for drainage, then set the corrugated pipe in place, and on top of that, I added more crushed rock to surround the pipe, keep the water flowing freely. And I don't think there's gonna be a lot of water, but this is just in case. I don't want the wall to fall over. I want it to last a really long time. A layer of heavy-duty landscape fabric went over the rock to keep the rock, to keep the dirt from clogging around the pipe. And then I finished with another layer of crushed rock. This setup makes sure that water drains properly, keeps soil out of the pipe, and helps the retaining wall last longer. Shut up, bird. Notice the railroad tie sitting center, which none of the other ones are. The reason we're doing that is to install a deadman on both sides. So I'm going to cut these railroad ties to fit a 5 or 6 foot deadman. Now a deadman is a support beam that runs perpendicular to the retaining wall, and it anchors back into the soil. So its job is to counteract the pressure of the dirt pushing against the wall. And with railroad tie walls, a deadman is usually another tie that extends straight back into, like we've got here, the hillside, and is pinned to the wall with rebar. The weight of the soil sitting on top of that buried tie holds the wall in place, and that's going to prevent leaning, bowing, and it really is one of the best ways to add long-term stability to your tall retaining wall. You can't underestimate how much fill dirt you're going to need. It's always more than I think. I have a long way to go, but this section here, I'm already at about 105 tons. And you're going to see this towards the end of the video, how it's used and how much dirt, to get a visualization of when we started versus the final retaining wall being up. It's a lot of dirt. Let's go over some costs for this entire project, what it was. So the fill dirt, I think I'm at 7 loads. And if I calculate that out, so that's 15 tons each. That's about 100-ish tons total. And that came out to a little over $1,000. For the wall itself, I used 30 railroad ties. Each one costs about $25, and that's about $750 in total. I'm going to talk about the delivery of these because I didn't go pick up the railroad ties. To hold it all together, I used that 40 feet of half-inch rebar. A 20-foot stick of rebar runs about $13. So what I used, it worked out to just around $26. Underneath, I added between 4 and 6 tons of road base in different areas. So that's about $90 before delivery. On top of that, I brought in a few truckloads of crushed rock, and the total for this particular project was probably around $200, $240. So we're at a little over $2,000 for this retaining wall, and a ton of work. But here's the thing worth mentioning. I paid $80 approximately for the Home Depot delivery. The ties and the rebar, so the rebar being 20 foot long, you gotta have a big trailer. That might sound like it's an extra cost, but if you've ever had to load railroad ties by hand, you know $80 is worth every penny. The process of getting railroad ties home, and I've done it a few times with my trailer, it's awful. Having them dropped off right at the site, it really makes the project go pretty smooth. And for $80, worth it all day long. Now, for sake of this project and all of the stuff that I have to do to get this greenhouse built, I'm just sloping here. But down the line, I'll add either a gabion up top or another railroad tie retaining wall. But look at this thing. It looks like it's been here for, I don't know, 100 years. That's the trick with railroad ties. Just beautiful. You go from this to something that looks like it's been here forever. And it's just beautiful. And really, the highlight, what makes me happy, is this little spigot right here. You know what I'm talking about. This is amazing. I love it. It's seasonal. I'm going to turn it off in the winter, but it's deep. I probably could leave it, I don't know, pretty late in the season, open it up pretty early. But that's the retaining wall. The project was awesome. Definitely sore. And if you do it, have fun.